to tune in. Good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. To all those who mother or are mothers, happy Mother's Day in arrears. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. Um, all right. Welcome, Instagram. Good morning, Didi Franca. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Sparky the Great, welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, definitely comment. Let me know it's your first time tuning in. Pot 10, good morning. Ashani, good morning. Thank you so much. He says, Happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Prince Honcho, good morning. If this is your first time, my name is Aisha Chidowe, and I'm an immigration lawyer. I represent clients all over the United States with their immigration matters. We handle basically almost all removal case type, all immigration case types related to family, humanitarian-based cases, so marriage, consular processing, fiancé visas, siblings, parents, child, VAWA, T, U visas, removal cases, some detention cases, and stuff like that. Ashani, it's not your first time on live. I see you on live all the time. Prince Honcho says it's his first time. Sparky says first time. Welcome. Simply Oni Girl, welcome. Good morning. Lovely Lee says it's her first time. Good morning. To schedule a consultation, call our office 407-995-6567 or 678-325-1037. You can also send a WhatsApp on 404-333-8751 if you would like to if you would like us to contact you to schedule a consultation. The WhatsApp number doesn't take phone calls, but the other two numbers take phone calls, so you can call us there. Harmet on YouTube says it's his first time. Welcome. Thank you for joining. And Romy Scope says, good morning. That's on YouTube. Okay, so let's see what is going on here. And questions. Someone says, Kimani says, so happy I got recommended to you. Oh, that's good. Thank you so much. Buzz the Champion, good morning. So many first timers today. Thank you guys so much for joining. This live really is to talk about, any questions you have, trends or things that I'm seeing to make sure that you guys are prepared for your immigration case. One trend that I'm seeing now, or people who are coming to us, is that we are seeing we are seeing people, especially people who file pro se. Pro se means that you filed by yourself, where they're not giving them an opportunity to request additional evidence or send a notice of intent to deny. They are just outrightly denying cases, and we're having to appeal those cases. So if you are someone who's filing pro se by yourself, you want to be mindful of that, and you really want to make sure that you have your ducks in a row, but more importantly, that you understand the elements of the application that you're submitting, because you always want to submit everything and satisfy all elements. If not, this administration, depending on the officer that you're dealing with, they can just outright deny your case without sending you a request for evidence. Okay, what are the best options for my case if I'm part of the partial ban? I have a pending DACA and AOS through marriage. So if you have an AOS through marriage, you're already in the best option for your case. We are definitely seeing movement, at least with the I-130s, basically all approvals that don't relate to the green card. So meaning if you're filing a marriage-based case and you're from a partial ban country, for instance, we are seeing some I-130 approvals. That said, everyone that is filing right now, we're not going to see any green card approval for the next couple of weeks, because they are, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, they are rerunning fingerprint, their new system. So several officers have told me, and I'm sure you guys have probably heard it from also several other lawyers, that they were instructed to have this fingerprint rerun before they start making decisions, again, on those cases as far as the green card or approving naturalization and stuff like that. Some people have asked, are they going to go for a new biometrics? No, you're not going to go for a new biometrics. They're just going to rerun what they already have in the system, like your fingerprints from your original biometrics. Again, if you submitted your application after April 27th of this year, then you will automatically be in the new fingerprinting system. And then the other question that I get asked is, I just lost my train of thoughts now. I can't remember what I was about to say, but anyway, if I remember it again, I'll say it. Okay. Bonjour, la mille avocats. I guess French. I don't speak French, but good morning. Shay says good morning as well. What's the filing fee for a 10-year green card application? The answer depends. Depends on what you're filing. Are you filing it based on what? Marriage, humanitarian based, minor, like the fee is different for everyone. Slickmade is asking, does your office have plans to file a lawsuit for clients who are from the 39 banned countries or pending I-485s outside of processing time? Honestly, it's funny that you asked that because a colleague of mine and I were talking about it last night, as a matter of fact. Right now, I don't want to see anything until, we do whatever it is that we're doing, and then So for right now, it's nothing until, I alert you, but we are looking into doing something. Okay. I have a pending marriage green card case. My husband filed for divorce, and I'm currently working on my VAD case. Am I in trouble? I'm very, very, very confused. So you have a marriage-based green card, you have a valid green card, and your husband filed for divorce. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure if I understand. So you have these two applications pending concurrently? Is that what you mean? So I need a little bit more clarity. Is it possible to get a one-on-one with you as a current client? Yes. You have to use your My Case to request the one-on-one and what you would like to discuss. Okay. Pending marriage green card case. My husband filed for divorce and I'm currently working. Okay, I guess it's the same question again. So if you can just retype that question so I can understand a little bit better. It's a little confusing. My friend was sent back home upon returning from Africa, even though he had parole and vow pending. What do you advise, please? He's not going to be able to come back, until his vow case is approved. This is why I keep saying, honestly, if you don't need to travel, you don't need to travel. You don't need to be making any international trips because they have discretion. Obviously, I don't know your friend and your friend's situation, and if there's anything in his own case that would have sent them back, because usually there is something, maybe you're not aware of it or you've not disclosed it in here, but there's something that was warrant them to stop them from re-entering, including sometimes where someone's case is actually denied and they're not aware that their case is denied, or like they did an abeyance and they're not aware that that 485 is denied, which is why I am extremely hesitant for applicants that don't have, I'm extremely hesitant basically for travel that is not an extraordinary circumstance of life and death. Right now, I'm talking about international trips. Now, do our clients travel and return? Sure, but it's risky, and they will tell you every time. I say when they ask, I say on the surface everything looks okay, but you're assuming the risk. If I say travel, just understand that you're assuming the risk that you might not be able to return, because they don't have to let you back into the country. It's at their discretion, and that is what is happening right now. So do with that information whatever you will, but if you don't need to go on an international trip, um, don't, right? How long is the VAR process taking? It's taking about 3 to 4 years, 3 to 4 years at minimum. That's what we're seeing. They're being very slow on many decisions, of many different cases, as you all can see, because they're doing the extreme vetting, as they call it. They're doing extreme vetting to make sure that those people meet the requirements and don't have anything that they consider criminal activity or are not crimes of moral turpitude. Okay, let's see. It's been 2 years since I petitioned my husband's green card. We're from Syria. When do you think we should expect to receive an email from USCIS? Can you help us with our case? Schedule a consultation, 407 995 6567. How long to get a bona fide determination in a T visa case after biometrics? Bona fide determination is not a right. That's kind of like a pre-approval, so not everybody's going to get one. If you're going to get one, timeline typically could be anywhere from like 7 to 15 months, if you're going to get one. Yeah. So yeah, you see, I knew it. I knew it. So this person who said that her friend had a pending VAWA case, and was sent back even though they had an advanced parole. The person now commented that he admitted that he did immigration fraud. There you go. There is always smoke without fire. Like, that's why when people come here and tell me, well, my friend did this, or my friend had that, or my cousin did this, or my brother did this, I'm like, you do not know unless you were there, unless you have their file, because I can tell you how many times people tell us something and we see whatever it is and we're like, oh, but they forgot, you didn't tell us this, or they didn't tell you that. There's always something. It's someone saying, oh, I didn't do anything. It was just a traffic ticket. And all of a sudden they want to take voluntary departure. And we're like, why do you want to take voluntary departure just for a traffic ticket? All to find out there's an actual crime that they committed, right? I can go through like the list of stuff, and when immigrants do that, they make it more difficult for a lot of people. As an immigrant, immigrants already have a bad rep, which is unfair, right? But the thing is, you really have to be squeaky clean. You really have to be squeaky clean to prove that we deserve to be here, right? That you've not that you don't meet, or you don't perpetuate whatever stereotype or narrative in this current administration of immigrants. So as long as you are squeaky clean, and you're filing an application that you're eligible for, you should generally not have any problem. But I still state what I say about the travel, because like you said, a lot of people that will not tell you the truth or whatever is going on, and you find out the truth after they're arrested. I live in London and my fiance is a US citizen. Due to immigration issues, which is better, applying for a fiance or getting married and applying for a green card? Without knowing, you said you live in London, but you haven't told me what country you're a citizen of. So that would be helpful. Thank you, Sakir. You translated it into English. Thank you. Okay, so this person who lives in London is from one of the restricted countries. So you're still in the same scenario. Consular processing is still happening the exact same way. If you're from one of the restricted countries, there's still the ban outside. We have actually a slew of interviews coming up right now. Again, I continue to watch this consular interviews for a decision so that I can be able to give you guys an update. But that said, the part that's done in America, they are approving that part if you're eligible, like the I-130, which would be based on marriage, or the I-129F if it's based on the fiance. So the part that is the challenge is the part that is, at the consulate level. We're still waiting for some decision. We still have like a slew of interviews coming up, where we're waiting on decisions for, just to kind of see. But there is, in fact, a ban, outside of the United States for consular processing. So what we're waiting on is not a decision, because we know that they're most likely not going to make a decision, but whether they will administratively close the cases and say, we're closing it right now, or holding it right now until the ban is lifted. As I've mentioned several times on live, with the bans outside of the United States, there is a 6-month review period. The ban was placed in January. So the first time that we're going to find out anything is going to be in June, because June will be 6 months. They've told us that they will re-review 180 days from the initial ban to see if they're going to remove any country. So until then, unfortunately, I don't have any update if you're trying to consular outside of the United States. And again, outside of the United States is a ban. Inside of the United States is not a ban. It's an adjudicative hold. And then there are a group outside that also will fall under the 75-country pause. A pause is not a ban. So some countries are going to have both a ban and a pause. And for those people, the ban is going to trump the pause. And then there's some people that just have a pause. For instance, like if you're from Jamaica, for example, you don't have a ban, you have a pause. So they're not going to deny your case. It's just pause, right? Until they figure out whichever process they're going through with a public charge. There's 75 countries, so I can't remember offhand. A lot of times people on live, I can't remember. I only remember countries that I deal with almost all the time. I can't remember all 75 countries. I usually have to have my sheet in front of me to go through the countries, like, in the console, to make sure are you in this country or not. So, if I don't remember your country right now, sorry. Can we travel internationally on a pending I-751 removal of conditions with divorce waiver? Again, I talked about international trips. As long as you have filed your I-751 based on divorce originally, not as an amendment. If you filed it originally, then you should be able to travel. But again, make sure you don't have any criminal records. Make sure you've not committed any fraud, because these are things that will keep you out of the U.S. You want to be very mindful about that, okay? All right, let's see. So Love Doctor says, I love your vast knowledge and calmness during consultations. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. In this field, you just have to be a student of someone who enjoys learning, or is not overwhelmed by it, because immigration, unlike many other laws, I used to be an intellectual property attorney and a mergers and acquisition attorney, where the laws remain the same for the most part. You might have little modifications here and there, but in the world of immigration, there's a new law every day, at least twice a week. Before it was once a week, now it's twice a week. So you're constantly having to refine your knowledge to learn. I mean, quite frankly, it is exhausting, but it's just what you got to do, in this area of study, because the rules change so much. So you have to learn the rules, or, you'd be in trouble. I petitioned for my husband's green card in December of 2025. Then we received a biometrics appointment April 29th. Could there be an issue for a case with a recent security screening? I don't know, because I don't know what your application looks like. Your case is normal. If you only filed in December, you're in a normal processing time. We're only in May. It's only been 5 months. Everybody's going through screening. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Everybody's going through the secondary screening. So I want to make sure that's clear. This is everybody. It doesn't matter any country you're from. You're going through, as long as that application was submitted before April 27th, 2026, you're going through secondary fingerprinting. Everybody. Is it possible to move a master hearing from court to Zoom? Yeah, it's possible to move it from court to WebEx. WebEx is what the courts use, which is kind of like Zoom. Every judge is different, unlike USCIS, where the uniform ways of things being done in part. With removal cases, everything is depending on the judge and how the judge handles things. A lot of judges will allow for the master hearing to move to WebEx, which is an online hearing. Some judges will not allow for an individual, which is your actual trial, to be on WebEx. So it just depends on the judge. So typically, when we want to know how does a judge, handle removal cases, we usually would research the judge's name and just their past, or speak to their assistant to find out how they prefer to do things. There's no one way, and each person does it. So for a lot of you, when you ask the questions, you don't put your countries. So it's really hard for me to be able to answer it, without knowing what country. Naomi, sorry guys, my daughter, as you can see her on the camera through my TV, is home today, and she is harassing me. One of my children. I'm on live. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah. So let's see. Okay. Okay, someone is asking, would you accept a case that 3 attorneys have initially said no to, and they acknowledge the merits of the case, but pushed back because of nationality? I will be curious why 3 attorneys have said no to it. So for me, if someone has a viable case, I'm happy to look at the case. But I find that odd that 3 lawyers will reject a case just based on nationality. That's weird. We don't discriminate based on nationality. However, you have to have a viable case. And sometimes some people are upset when I say no. In fact, I think I have that 1-star review when the person doesn't have a viable case and wanted me to file a case that was not viable, and I said no. And she was upset about it. But that's just, I would never compromise my integrity. I will never submit a case if I know your case is not viable. Why would I do that to my clients? I want to win for my clients, and if you don't meet the elements of whatever is required to be approved, or you're at risk of deportation, and there's no viability, why would I submit that? So yeah, so I would need to see that. Okay. Okay. I did my biometrics for Val last month, and I also applied for work permit and travel document. What can I expect? Algemo, I don't know what country you're from. If you're not from a country that has an adjudicative hold, your process, at least to get up to the work permit, should go normally 6 to 11 months right now is what we see. from receipt for work permits if you're not from one of the adjudicative hold countries. For those countries with the adjudicative hold, like I mentioned, we've started to see decisions come through in trickle for things like the I-130s, the I-129Fs. I've posted some of them here. As I get them, I post it and I post the country so you can kind of see what they're beginning to approve. They're going slower with those because they're doing a lot of secondary review, but they're moving slowly but surely. Thank you so much, Shamika Hamilton. Okay. Someone is asking for our phone number. Again, it is 407-995-6567. Again, it is 407-995-6567. You can also call us on 678-325-103. What is it? Again, hold on one second. Let me see what our number is. 1037. So 678-325-1037. And then if you want to send a WhatsApp, it's 404-333-8751. Sorry, guys, there's so many numbers I don't remember sometimes. Okay, I will take one more question. Yeah, someone said my sound went off. Sorry about that. Somebody was calling my phone, and so it disconnected me. So sorry about that. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. If not, can you guys hear me? Oh, I guess nobody can hear me. So sorry about that. I don't know what happened and why you guys can't hear me anymore. But I will be on live tomorrow. Schedule a consultation if you need to speak with an attorney. Myself or any of the attorneys at my firm will be happy to assist you with your immigration matter. All right, guys, have a good day.